A group of immigrant-owned grocers are planning to sue New York City over Mayor Mamdani's 5 city-run stores. I think we said this last week, Madison. See you in court.
Things keep getting worse for New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani and his dream of socialist grocery stores. Hey guys, welcome back to the show, your home for independent and nonpartisan commentary and analysis on politics, media, internet insanity, and more. We're going to check back in with our favorite far-left mayor, Zohran Mamdani of New York City, the self-described democratic socialist who made one of his key promises, which, in fairness to him, he is trying to deliver and follow through on, as we've covered on this channel. Made one of his key promises that they were going to build and set up 5 government-run grocery stores that would then be subsidized by taxpayers to sell discounted groceries to people in New York City. Now, we've kind of talked extensively about all the reasons this makes no sense to spend $70 million at minimum. That's what they say it'll cost. These things often overrun to build new stores from scratch when stores already exist, and you could just subsidize needy people who are struggling to afford groceries, just give them a SNAP supplemental or something, like extra funding of some kind. Instead, we're going to build whole new stores from scratch to then sell discounted groceries. And by the way, he's not even having any sort of verification process that the people that shop there are New Yorkers or pay New York City taxes. They might be people visiting from Jersey or out of state or what have you. It's like, anyway, the whole thing's a mess and it might be illegal. There's a big lawsuit that was just announced challenging the mayor's move by bodega owners, in particular, minority-owned bodega and small grocery businesses are suing Zohran over this. Let's watch Fox News report on the lawsuit.
A group of immigrant-owned grocers are planning to sue New York City over Mayor Mamdani's 5 city-run stores. Fox Business's Madison Allworth is here with all of those details. Well, I think we said this last week, Madison. See you in court.
Yes, Cheryl, that's absolutely right. It's now come down to this. We have learned exclusively that this group, this coalition representing 50 chambers of commerce, a lot of minority-owned grocery stores and bodegas, they are ready to sue the city of New York over their government-run grocery stores. The Multicultural Business Coalition exclusively telling us the lawsuit is drafted. It will be filed this morning, sometime between now and 9 a.m. Essentially, what they are arguing is that it is unfair. The city is using taxpayer dollars, so these very same businesses are funding these government-run grocery stores that won't have to pay anything in taxes and then will be able to outcompete, potentially putting out of business these locally owned stores. We're in front of them right now, one of them. Elvis Aria is the manager. His family's owned this market for 25 years. He's being represented in this lawsuit because if we spin around, his grocery store is right across the street from this lot, which will become La Marqueta, the government-run grocery store here in East Harlem. It will not have to pay anything in taxes. Elvis tells us that will make it impossible for him to compete, and he's worried that it means he will go out of business.
I can't compete because he get better price than me. So I sell something maybe in $3. He got it $150, $125 over there because it's free.
So it's funny. I want to pause here to reflect on a couple pieces of this. One, that it is so funny that of all people, it's the Multicultural Business Association suing and the different bodega owners. And this makes sense if you know anything about New York City and who typically runs these businesses. It's all various first or second generation immigrants, different people of color, the exact kind of minorities that progressives in America usually say they're fighting for, who are pissed about this plan. And it really is deeply unfair to these business owners who have paid New York City taxes for years, have created jobs, have served their communities, and now are going to be taxed to subsidize their own destruction. Now, to be clear, there's only 5 city-run grocery stores in the works, so a lot of the bodegas won't actually have any local competition, but some of them will, like this guy, who is really just the perfect spokesperson that Fox News found for this. It's they're a little diabolical the way they frame this, but hey, it's not wrong. And so it's across the street from his bodega. Yeah, I'm sure that won't hurt his business at all. that people are going to be able to get taxpayer subsidized cheap groceries, and then that business doesn't have to pay any taxes, which is one of the biggest expenses these businesses have. So it's literally impossible for him to compete with these, socialist grocery stores. And then he is being forced to fund the destruction of his business and livelihood with his own tax dollars. That is absolutely objectively unfair and crazy work to subject business owners to in your city. Now, is it illegal? I don't really know. It's definitely really unfair, and this lawsuit will certainly shine a spotlight on that, but I can't say whether it will ultimately be held up in court. It's possible that it will be. I mean, other cities have done these experiments with government grocery stores, so they're not inherently illegal, but I hope they have some sort of claim legally speaking. But regardless, it's certainly going to raise the alarm on how crazy this is. And again, all of this in order to create these stores that are then not at all targeted towards helping needy New Yorkers. Anyone can shop there, no matter your income. So it's like not even a program that's targeting poverty in any way. Wild stuff. But this is Zohran's crown achievement. And I guess we'll see. But to me, it already seems to be backfiring spectacularly. Let's keep watching.
We have reached out to the city for comment regarding the lawsuit, but we have yet to hear back. But they have recently walked back comments regarding the government-run stores. The lead official for NYC Groceries told New York One that they were exploring grants for local businesses to help them compete with the government-run stores. So taxpayers paying for the government-run stores and paying for the stores that already exist. But the mayor's office has since walked that back, telling Fox Digital they are not considering grant programs for existing grocers. Now, this location here in Harlem is expected to cost taxpayers $30 million. Keep in mind, Cheryl, there are supposed to be 5 stores with a total of $70 million set aside.
It's going to run way higher than that. For just this one location,
expected to be open by 202029. But now the small business owners, like the one behind me, are ready to fight back. Cheryl?
We've talked about this, Madison, on the air with you. That it's going to be the bodegas that are going to get put out of business because of this. In those areas, he's going to actually kill businesses through this plan.
Many of which are minority owned. Exactly, Cheryl.
Yeah.
So really interesting tidbit in there, because we talked about this last week, that one of the government officials Zohran had appointed to oversee this grocery development project had said in an interview they were considering giving grants to the bodegas, which went viral. We talked about it on the channel because it's such a hilarious microcosm of the economic illiteracy of this whole approach. They create this huge issue and problem and then spend a bunch of money creating it, and then their solution is to spend even more taxpayer money paying off the people who they hurt with their original wasted money. This got a ton of backlash. So then they tried to walk it back and clarify, hang on. We're actually not giving grants. Our official misspoke. We're actually just considering tax abatements, which means like tax breaks. It's just another form of giving out government money. So it's not even really that different. I mean, it's somewhat different, but it's still a subsidy in effect. And then it's just hilarious because it's like they still are doing the thing that the main pushback was, which was creating a whole problem that's not actually targeted to helping any needy people, that then you have to help the people you've hurt with the original solution you created to a problem that doesn't exist. Like, it really is actually just a whole diabolically unhinged scheme, and I do hope it gets stopped in court. I don't know if it will. I guess we'll see. But Mayor Mamdani does, in fact, seem quite confident that he'll be able to defend the plan in court. Here he is being asked about it by a reporter today. Let's watch.
Another career might be.
Look, all applications are being...
Just a joke. So, 2 questions. The first one is this. A group of about 15 minority groups that represent bodega owners are filing suit to stop your city-run groceries. They say that your city-run groceries, and I quote, are a direct assault on minority businesses by a mayor who claims to be a champion of the disenfranchised, poor, and working-class New Yorkers. How do you feel about that? They feel that they're being disenfranchised. And what's your response to their suit and their attempt to stop your city-run grocery stores?
I continue to be fully confident in both the legality and the importance of our initiative to deliver 5 city-run grocery stores, 1 in each borough, to the people of our city. We are talking about a reflection of a cost of living crisis that has seen grocery prices increase by about 30% over the last few years. And we're also talking about delivering 5 city-run grocery stores in a city of 8.5 million people that has more than 1,000 grocery stores. And we've seen, in fact, with Essex Street Market in Manhattan, as well as Moore Street Market in Brooklyn, a model where the city has subsidized groceries and it has not had a negative effect on bodegas around them or on grocery stores around them. And I'm confident both in the legality of this, that it will stand up in court, and in the importance of delivering it.
Yeah, so look, maybe he's right about the legality of it, that they'll have to hash it out in court. I genuinely don't know, but I think it's gaslighting to suggest that it's not going to affect the bodegas. I mean, the one that we saw earlier in the first clip, it's literally across the street and it's selling discounted groceries at a huge subsidized discount that he can't possibly compete with. There's just no universe in which that doesn't hurt the bodega owner. So it would be more honest of Zohran to simply say, yeah, some bodega owners will be put out of business, but we think it's more important to sell cheap groceries to people. So that is what it is. That would be more honest. Now, of course, he's a politician, so he's never going to admit something like that. They just don't. They're incapable of admitting true things when they could possibly redound to their political, detriment. But it would be the honest approach here. And it's true. He's right. There's 1,000+ grocery stores or bodegas in New York City. So it's not going to. And I think the perils of the right-wing media coverage of this issue is that they oversell its significance. It's like socialist grocery store scheme going to destroy all the bodegas. And then when that doesn't happen, that will look a little silly because it's a question of scale. It's like there are only building 5. So they're going to waste a bunch of money. They're not going to address a real issue. And they will harm some bodega owners who are located close to them. But we shouldn't overstate the significance of this because it is a relatively minor pilot program. But the two main concerning elements of it, though, for me at least, are that it demonstrates the intellectual bankruptcy of the policy perspective and worldview that Zohran and his ilk inhabit and would implement. And 2, it's essentially a pilot program that I think if people like it, even if it's actually very expensive and harmful on a policy level, they may do more of. And it serves to make people more comfortable with the idea of government-run economy and industries and stores and all this kind of stuff that Zohran and his ilk, who are very radical at heart and come from the DSA-aligned movement and organization that literally is Marxist and wants the government to take over the entire economy or almost all of it, all large major corporations. That's in their frickin' platform. Well, this kind of thing, unfortunately, does serve to normalize socialism. So look, I'm against it, and I hope that it fails in court, but if not, that it fails in the court of public opinion. That's just my take. You guys will have to let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, subscribe, all of that, and we'll be back with more real soon.